Hey friends, welcome back to the show. This is episode 3 of the Nurse Talk series. Our guest in this episode is one of my nursemates back in 2013 nung uso pa yung nursing heels. Ngayon, she is currently practicing pediatric nursing. Casey Kahilig from London, welcome to the show.
Hi, hello. It's good to be here. Thank you and I really hope that after this um, session that we have, I could impart something that your viewers could really benefit from.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Casey. Kumusta ka?
Ayos lang. Komportable naman. Chill lang. Medyo malamig pa rin, although summer daw dito, pero weather is really different.
I
Ayan.
see.
Kamusta?
Okay. Okay lang din naman. Nakakatakot
Mm.
dito sa Philippines. Alam mo naman, Casey, maraming salamat talaga for joining us. And I know na maraming nurse will be thrilled with your story. So, let's start. Casey, kailan ka dumating sa London? Tama, no? Sa London?
Yes. Oh, sa London. It was January 15 when we arrived, and we have to do like yung quarantine for 10 days. So we have to stay in a hotel, yan, ganyan, before we started out sa hospital. So yung exposure namin really began mga Feb 1st or 2nd ba yun? And then, yeah, from that point na, or that day na we arrived, we were doing quarantine, but still we were doing yung like Zoom sessions, like because we have to do induction, yung mga orientations and all that stuff. We did it while nasa quarantine before.
So, paano yun? After ng quarantine nyo, gaano katagal yung nag-orientation ba ulit kayo sa hospital nun, aside dun sa Zoom nyo?
Sa Zoom, it was like a week. And then after that, nag-start yata kami sa hospital mga 3rd of Feb. And then, one day lang na orientation na hindi ka talaga mag-duty. And then after that, the following days, ano na yun, proper duty na. Pero still, you're on your supernumerary status. So, hindi ka talaga required na to do anything. Basta, you're just there to learn, to be oriented. Usually, yung partner mo, yung mga educators. Basta, kompleto sila doon. Educators, you have a buddy with you na senior staff. So, we're on shadowing mga first few days.
And ilang days yon yung shadowing nyo?
Actually, you're going to shadow until you get your PIN. So, pagdating kasi namin dito, di ba, we have to review for the OSCE and all that kasi magte-take pa kami ng exam. So, to be properly part of the team, like yung nurse na talaga, we have to do yung shadowing while doing our review sa OSCE, which is quite confusing because we were dealing with pediatrics then sa hospital, and then we were about to take yung OSCE, the adult OSCE one. So we were reviewing for an adult one, and we were training for pediatrics naman sa hospital. So it's quite confusing, but still, yeah, time management lang, and yun talagang right support para mapasa mo lahat or makapag-adjust ka sa ward.
Wow. And regarding dun sa OSCE mo, kailan ka kumuha nun?
We were booked around 19 yata of March. So I had like less than 2 months to review for it, you know. It was difficult at first kasi ang hirap mag-review kasi you have to do it with a group. And otherwise, hindi ka mapapractice talaga kasi to have someone to parang assess you din while doing. Kasi it's like parang return demo ba? And so, syempre, ang hirap gawin on your own. So, you have to be with a group. And then that time, we were on lockdown. So, yung mga friends ko, we cannot be together on the same place kasi we were parang staying in a staff accommodation which has like different flats on each floors. And after the hotel, we were assigned to different flats. And then it wasn't our bubble. If you go to another flat, it wasn't your bubble. So, hindi ka pwedeng magtambay doon. Hindi ka rin pwede sa labas mag-review kasi ang lamig, sarado yung coffee shops. Walang venue to practice, basically. So, it was hard. Pero minsan, takas-takas na lang, ganyan. Tapos bulungan na lang sa rooms while nagre-review. So it was hard kasi maiksi lang yung time namin to review and yun nga, lockdown pa. So, pero still, buti na lang, take one lang.
And Casey, anong pakiramdam nun pagpasa mo? Grabe.
Oh, sobrang amazing kasi we really didn't know that we could do it talaga. Kasi ito kasi ng hospital namin is kami yung first na cohort nila from the Philippines talaga. So, it was yung first time nila hosting yung international nurses talaga na kailangan pa mag-OSCE and all that. So, ang nangyari, hindi kapapa sila sa support when it comes to adult OSCE kasi nga, pediatric hospital to. So, all their educators, kung sino mang team na assign sa amin, parang wala pa silang experience na having that OSCE thing. So, ang ginawa nila is, in-enroll nila kami to another parang third party na review center, parang ganyan. Para i-prepare kami for just 2 weeks and then that's it. Bahala ka na on your own, you have to review on your own na. Kaya sobrang akala namin hindi kami makakapasa kasi every time na mag-a-assess kami, it's always bagsak. So I don't know, siguro what we did nung sa actual day is just adrenaline.
Grabe, congratulations. Casey, let's talk about yung unang dating mo dyan sa London. What was that like for you? Parang meron ka bang funny moments? Kasi syempre, alam mo yun, first time mo sa country na yan. So parang ano yung mga impressions mo?
When it comes to yung mga first, really different. I wasn't like, hindi pa ako nag-travel to a place like this before. I haven't been, siguro sa Asia lang ako nakapag-travel before. So for me, this is a really entirely different environment for me. Lalo yung weather, because we came here at a winter time. Talagang yung cold niya as in biting cold na akala ko enough na yung suot ko pero turns out hindi. Properly winter clothing naman siya pero pagdating pala dito, hindi pa pala, kulang pa pala yun. Apparently, walang masyadong sun pala. One funny experience I had when we were still in the big few days ng pagdating namin dito is when after our quarantine, we were transferred na to yung staff accommodation. No? So, we were, just like I told before, we were put in different flats. So, right then, parang we asked the landlord na, can we visit our friends sa other flats? Is that allowed? Kasi nga, lockdown, we don't know the rules here. So, yeah, sinabi niya, okay lang naman daw. So, that day, first night, we went to my friend's flat just to have dinner. Then that's it. 15 minutes through eating, someone knocked on their dining area. 2 police officers came. Like it was a man and a woman, and we were so scared. I don't know, pero ako sobrang kaba ko that day, and apparently it wasn't allowed because it's not our bubble. And basically someone told the police about us, like hanging out in there, and we are not living in that flat. Well, it's just that sometimes, people can be like that, Yun yung mga few people na parang, hindi mo alam kung pwede na mo sana niyang sinabi na lang or knock on the door na di siya comfortable with us being there. I was so scared. Like, kung makukulong ako then, who would I call? Like, I don't have any relatives here. It was bad enough na we were put in different flats. Tapos that day, na first experience outside, naka-experience pa ako ma-apprehend ng police. But they're kind enough na they know na we were new here and they just asked us na to go back to our flats na it wasn't allowed. So, ayun, inorient lang kami pero it was still scary.
So, parang nagkaroon lang ng warning tapos pinauwi lang kayo. So, maluwag din sila.
Yeah, so maluwag din sila and I think hindi kasi katulad sa atin, parang angas agad, pulis ako, ganyan. Here, parang, they are still humble. Parang it's enough na they're wearing the uniform. Hindi na nila kailangan ipa-feel sa'yo na you should be scared kasi sinisita kita. Pero, yun, ganun lang. They just had us warned and I don't know if, kasi I haven't told my mom about this yet. So it was the first time I'm telling this story because kami magpa-friends, we told ourselves na never to tell it to anyone kasi nga nakakahiya.
Wow, so nag-confess ka sa camera.
Yes, yes.
Casey, let's talk about your journey papuntang UK. Paano mo hinanap 'yon? Is it government or NHS ba 'yun or parang private siya na agency, gano'n?
Hindi ko talaga siya hinanap. I just looked kung ano ang what do you call that, parang jobs, ano ba sa atin yun? Basta yung website na yung para sa mga international jobs. So I just looked there, looking for a pediatric opening kasi I really don't want to be placed in an adult hospital. Although mas mabilis makaalis kapag nasa adults ka kasi marami nag-hire talaga ng adults. But for me kasi for 8 years of practicing, I've never handled adult in my life sa professional career. So I really wanted to stick na lang to peds. So what I did was just look sa website, and then initially it was around 2018 or beginning of 2019 when I applied, and then natanggap ako dito sa isang other part. So it was that agency, and then a few months after I canceled with them kasi turns out kasi parang agency dito yan sa Pilipinas, and then they would also have like a tie-up agency here. Tapos dun kumukuha yung hospital. Parang there's a middleman pa na from the UP na agency. So it turns out that agency hindi sila nakasecure ng permit with our POEA then. So na-cancel yung application ko. So I still waited after that. Parang waited for the right one to come along na. So it turns out itong hospital ko ngayon, I just want to mention the name, it's Great Ormond Street Hospital. Yeah, they were hiring for the first time abroad. So I grabbed it, but I didn't know how big the hospital was, like yung talagang name niya, until I got here.
Kaya siguro hindi ka natuloy dun sa una, no? Dahil para dyan ka talaga.
Yes. Meron pa palang greater na opportunity for me.
And gaano katagal inabot yung process mo nun? Yung nag-apply ka dyan sa hospital mo?
So it took so long just because of pandemic hit while I was applying. So we were supposed to, because natanggap ako like 2019 ng December. And then we were supposed to go na ng 2020 na April. But then syempre, yun nga, lockdown happened around March ng 2020, right? So mga ganon. So I'm still in the middle of medicals that time. Nagre-render na din ako sa previous job ko and all that. So we weren't allowed to go just because maraming so risky kasi yung UK mataas din cases noon, lockdown, tapos pati airport natin yata nag-stop din yung mga nagpo-fly to abroad. So we waited until kasi may news na nangyari. And then news again around December na aalis na daw kami. And then buti na lang yan, it happened kasi it was a short window na nag-open yung UK and yung Philippines then inaalaw na umalis yung mga nurses. So yung small window na yun, we were allowed to go. So we got here around from April until December yung waiting time namin. So ang hirap, most of us nag-resign na sa work nila. So hindi na sila nag-apply ng ibang work while still waiting. Well, for me, for my work naman, I just extended my rendering period ba because kailangan din nila ng staff. So I was allowed to, although I finished na dapat finish na ako around March, they still allowed me to stay just because kulang sa staff. And then I can go anytime I want.
Kasi during doon sa na-delay ka, inisip mo ba na parang baka hindi na para sa'yo to? No? Ano yung mga inisip mo nun? Parang inisip mo rin ba na parang mag-give up na sa UK mo habang na-delay ka dahil sa COVID, ganun?
Yes, actually, halos pag-give up na rin. Kasi nga, I waited na nga sa first agency ko and then it didn't happen. And then I was actually thinking of paano kung ganun na naman this time, it will not happen na naman pala. And also, yung exam ko, which is yung CBT, it's just valid until April of 2021 na lang eh. So if hindi pa ako makakaalis ng 2020, and then hindi ko pa ma-secure yung OSCE ko before April, I have to repeat all the process again. So it was quite hard. But I was just fortunate na yung IELTS ko, although expired na then, kasi I took it ng 2018 eh. It was expired, but because of the old system of NMC, you were allowed to take the OSCE even if your IELTS is expired, basta valid yung CBT mo. So parang ganun yung sistema. But it's not ganun na ngayon, iba na ngayon. You have to have a valid IELTS. But with me, I was fortunate enough na okay lang na expired siya. So ang iniintindi ko lang that time is yung ma-expire yung CBT ko, and then wala na ulit to sa umpisa. So buti na lang, and almost na I really given up that yung hope ko na to go.
Pag-usapan natin yung IELTS mo. Ano yung diskarte na ginawa mo para makapasa? Kasi alam ko, di ba, yung IELTS for the UK is mataas yung requirements. Unlike dun sa US, is parang dapat 6.5 lang kami overall. Tapos speaking 7, okay na kami. Anong study habits ang ginawa mo dun?
So before, I just had, review ako sa isang review center in Manila. One of the yun yung pinaka-sikat sila sa review ng IELTS. So I just reviewed there, enrolled for yung unlimited review nila because I didn't know if I could pass it for one take. So unlimited review ako sa kanila. I just attended yung mga sessions na alam kong I had difficulty, and then I made sure na for 2 months or 1 month ba yun, I made sure na I would study or write something for 2 hours every day. So every day I allot 2 hours of my time just to write something randomly about the topics na, kasi you were given like a lot of topics na you could write. Siyempre, di ba, it's anything under the sun yung topic when it comes to IELTS eh. So yun, ang problema ko talaga that time is yung writing, kasi siyempre nababalita before na it's really, really hard to get a 7. The result of my exam is just tad short of the score kasi 7 ang required. I just got 6.5 actually sa writing. So it's actually bagsak for dito sa UK. But then, and then next month, I decided, oh sige, I'll take OET na lang because it's also accepted here. So I took OET the next month, and then I passed it. And then when I got the result of the OET, it turns out that day, they lowered the score for IELTS. It was so funny. Nagsaya ako ng pera for OET, and it turned out pwede ko palang gamitin yung IELTS ko. Pero anyway, okay, the OET. So, ang nangyari, I still use my IELTS for my application din kasi apparently pumwede na siya.
Magkano yung difference nun yung IELTS and OET? Or magka-price lang ba sila?
Malaki. I think that time, IELTS is, kasi we are allowed to take yung UKVI kasi which is, di ba, parang meron pang IELTS general, parang general something, and then UKVI. For visa purposes, you have to take the UKVI, which is around 14,000 that time. And then OET, depende sa palitan yata with Australian dollars. OET was 24,000 then. So huge difference when it comes to peso, 10K.
Sobrang mahal pala nun. Grabe, 24. Tapos pwede nang pala yung IELTS mo.
Yes, di ba, 24,000 down the drain.
Pero worth it naman, nandyan ka na. Casey, let's talk about your work. Parang, what's a typical day sa trabaho mo? And, kamusta yung nurse-to-patient ratio nyo?
So a typical day for my area is not really different from ours. Just endorsement, and then you have to do meds when it's your due time. Have to go to doctor's rounds as well, parang ganon. The difference is that we have a huddle in the middle of the shift, like around like mid shift, around like 1 or 2 p.m. We would have a mini meeting, all of us, lahat ng staff, lahat ng trabaho staff, just to, relay kung ano yung updates with all your patients, tell the charge nurse if there's something na needs to be raised, with in terms of your sa patients mo, kung may problems and all that. Ganun lang. Not really parang different with us. Nurse patient ratio wise, toxic na yung 1:4. Usually it's 1:2 or 3. And this is I'm talking about the ward, because sa ward namin, it's a surgical ward actually. That's composed of high dependency unit, and also yung cubicles, what we call is yung mga rooms yon, yung parang sa atin lang din na ward na may rooms, ganyan na siya. So if you are assigned in yung sa HDU, yung sa high dependency, you would have 1:2 or sometimes 1:1 kapag talagang bantayan. But if you're assigned to cubicles, like 1:3, 1:4 is too much na yun sa kanila. Understaff na yun. I experienced it before. Kasi maraming nag-quarantine din ng mga staff. Na-experience din namin yung mga short staffing. So, yun na yung mahirap na yun sa kanila, yung 1:4. So, para sa ating mga Pinoy, wala lang yun. Pero, difficult lang kasi, syempre, iba yung practices dito and all that. Pero, para sa ating mga Pinoy, kayang-kaya yun.
Grabe, so mas mahirap pa yung ginagawa natin dati sa government hospital kung saan tayo nagtatrabaho dati.
Oo, syempre.
Sa dami ng
Sa dami, because as you may remember, sa pang respi ward, di ba, sa atin noon, abot ng 50 patients, ilan lang kayo, 2 senior mo, tapos minsan 2 lang kayong RNUs or 3. So, napakahirap nun. Hindi ko ma-imagine, pag binabalikan ko, hindi ko ma-imagine, how did we survive that? Yung ganong nurse-patient ratio natin.
Ang galing, nakakatuwa, grabe. Casey, in your opinion, paano nagde-differ yung practices natin dito sa Philippines dyan sa London?
Actually, there are a lot of differences. I really can't explain it inang isa-isa, but I can just give example. One example is that huge differences yung there are unsafe practices that we were practicing back home, and then dito yun syempre mas ideal, mas by the book, mas more research based sila, ganyan. Like for example, when preparing your meds and you'll have to take it up from the ampule and you have to break it, sa atin straight away you would just aspirate it using a needle. But here, they would use a needle, a blunt needle that has filter inside. Because apparently, pag binrake mo pala yun, may mga particles yun or mga powdered bubog that possibly ma-aspirate when you're just using the ordinary needle. So, yun yung isa sa I could really think of really differs na sa practice natin. Pero there are a lot. Yun. So, sa equipment-wise, sobrang different din kasi syempre dito mas high-tech. Although na-encounter na natin yung mga equipments nila rin dito before. That's why I'm telling you na if you're gonna work abroad, you should work sa private hospital than in a government hospital. You should build your experience with them kasi at least closer to reality yung private, closer to ideal as compared to government, because government is all improvisation and all that. Although marami ka rin matututunan sa government, but pagdating sa ideal setting, I think mas ideal kapag sa private kasi I've experienced both, so I can, differentiate kung ano yung mas beneficial.
Okay yung sinabi mo yun kasi alam kong maraming nurses na, alam mo yun, gusto lang din bumalik sa practice just to have their experience na current and dahil lang gusto din nila mag-abroad. So, sa mga nanonood nito, yun yung sagot doon. Dapat sa private hospital para ideal yung
Yes.
practices. Okay yun.
So, yun.
How about yung yung hours nyo per work? 8 hours ka ba or 12 hours? And paano yung scheduling? Kayo rin ba na namimili nun, Casey?
In terms of scheduling, we are only allowed to work 37.5 hours per week. So, sa hospital namin, I can only tell you about yung sa hospital namin kasi I think sa mga ibang hospital is nagkakaroon din sila ng 8 hours. So with us kasi it's always 12.5 hours. So it's just 2 shifts per day. 2 shifts per day and then 3 days a week yung pasok namin. So you have 4 days of free time in a week. So din, sobrang luwag. So kayang-kaya. Pagdating sa scheduling, kung kami ang nagpa-plot or nag-request, you can also do requests. We are sa amin sa ward, you are allowed to have 4 requests per month, ganun lang. And if you need more, you can just tell the manager about it or file an annual leave for it mo talagang kailangan mo. So maluwag. Di siya parang katulad sa atin na parang magre-request ka ng leave this day, gagawin from duty ka pa and then kinabukasan ng leave mo day shift ka, AM ka, which is parang di makatao. So I just no pagdating ko na dito, I just look back on some things na like that, yung file ka ng leave na sobrang yun lang talaga ibibigay sa'yo, di mo pwedeng dugtungan na request, which is grabe din. Pero yun sana yun yung mga bagay na matutunan ng mga nagma-manage sa mga area sa back home, na bigyan naman ng time yung mga staff to ibigay kung ano yung kailangan nila na schedule and all that. Kung kaya ibigay sana.
Nararamdaman mo pa rin ba yung pagod na naramdaman mo dito after duty? Or dyan ba kahit 12 hours ka, hindi ganun kapagod?
Yes, nararamdaman pa rin. There are certain days na you would walk, pag-check mo ng phone mo, 14,000 steps, and you wouldn't believe it na I did 14,000 steps that day. Parang nakakapagod din kasi sobrang holistic ng care. Sa atin kasi it's just more on documentation, meds, referrals, and VS, ganyan. Dito maraming extra stuff, like kasi I work on peds. So, you have to communicate pa well. You have to, marami rin silang mga requests, magbabother for reasons na parang, alam mo yun, na kaya naman sana nilang gawin, pero you would be asked for it. Parang gano'n. Nakakapagod din. There are days na nakakapagod din. Pero there are days na it would be so laid back. So, balance lang. It's not every day na gano'n. Hindi katulad sa atin na sometimes 4 days straight or 5 days straight pasok mo and then lahat ng yun lupay-pay ka after work. So, hindi naman ganun. There are good days. There are also parang nakakapagod days.
In your experience, Casey, how does Filipino patients differ from foreigner patients?
I can only speak for the British people and all yung mga, kasi they're so polite. They're really polite. Siguro yun na yung culture nila. I rarely encountered someone na yung talagang palaban masyadong hindi relaxed, ganyan. Maybe because they're really supported in terms of mentally din. Kasi if they find, or if the staff finds it na parang yung parents are having difficulty accepting kung ano yung nangyayari sa anak nila and all that, hindi ikaw yung kailangan ipilit mo na to communicate with them or explain to them na or comfort them, you can call some other team to do that. Meron kaming parang you can refer them to psych team, to yung to talk with them, to counsel with them. Sa atin kasi lahat yan sa atin, ano tayo na gumagawa niyan. Pati pag-explain, pati minsan dapat doktor gumagawa, pero tayo na gumagawa. Alam mo yun, kaya lagi tayong napapaaway sa relatives before. Alam mo yun, napapalaban tayo sa relatives before. Pero, ayun nga, I think lang, mas sa na-experience ko before, dyan sa Pinas, parang, in comparison, mas demanding yung mga Pinoy compared sa mga nandito. Well, dun pa lang sa mga na-experience ko. I'm sure may different naman na experiences ng mga iba dito na nag-work na dito as compared to mine. So, I can only speak for the what I've experienced. Pero all of them are all okay so far. And I hope ganun lagi.
Casey, how about in terms of working with foreigners? Parang what's that like? Are they straightforward ba? Or like, kasi alam natin, di ba, parang as Filipino, yung culture natin is medyo conservative. Like, for example, yung ibang tao pag may parang problema, they won't mention it. Paano yun? Paano sila makipag-communicate? Ganun.
Yun nga, it's because they're so polite din. They can tell it to you straight away, pero alam mo yun, it's in a way na it's not really offending. Pero ito, sa ward ko lang to kasi as I've heard, as compared to other wards in our hospital, yung ward ko is one of the wards na may sobrang amazing na team. So, well, for me, kaya nila sabihin sa'yo straight away kung mali yung ginawa mo. Well, you are really not offended in any way. Alam mo yun, hindi mo nga alam kung pinagalitan ba ako or hindi ako pinagalitan. Ikaw pa magtataka minsan, parang, ayos ba siya or hindi? Parang ganon. Kasi they would really tell it in a really nice way na maiintindihan mo and hindi ka ma-offend and all that. Unlike yung kapag sa Pilipinas kasi before, kung matatanda mo yung mga seniors natin sa, especially yung nasa government tayo, iba sila, di ba? Ibang-iba sila magalit talaga kasi parang nasa war zone minsan, ganyan. Pero here, very, subtle lang. Hindi kinakailangan, kapag nag-sorry ka, minsan sasabihin pa na, no, you don't have to say sorry.
Oo, no, iba talaga yung culture dito sa atin. Minsan nga, mumuray ka pa eh.
Oo, totoo yun.
Hindi naman natin alam lahat eh.
Yes. First day mo pa lang, minura ka na for something na hindi mo alam minsan.
So, sabihin natin 3 araw yung trabaho mo and then you have your 4 days off. Ano yung typical na ginagawa mo sa days off mo? Madalas ka bang pupunta sa ibang city or yung pupunta sa ibang country, ganun? Mamasyal ba kayo with your friends? Anong activities nyo?
Sa activities, more on, kasi itong flatmates ko, kami, parehas kami ng ugali ba? Hindi naman kami as in kasing outgoing katulad ng iba. So, we just stay at home sometimes. We just, minsan ang alis lang namin is grocery and then just do laundry, cleaning, ganyan. Pag talagang sabay-sabay kami ng off, kasi it rarely happens, yun, kumakain kami sa labas, we just explore London a bit, ganyan, kasi you can do a lot sa here in London. So sa 8 months ko, 8 months na ba ako? So for my 8 months here, hindi ko pa napuntahan actually lahat. So ayun, ganun lang yung typical days off ko. Sometimes yun nga, Netflix, ganyan, video games. Yeah, we'd like to stay indoors. Mas more lumabas na kami no, naging good na yung weather. Medyo warmer na, nakapag-shorts ka na sa labas. Pero nung winter time, talagang we really hate to go out kasi nga have to put on a lot pa. Tapos, alam mo yun, medyo hassle siya. So, we preferred staying indoors.
Totoo ba na sobrang daming Pilipino na dyan na tipong paglalabas ka, sa mga tourist attraction, may maririnig ka magtatagalog, ganun?
Yes, sobra. So, sobrang daming Pinoy. Punta ka sa church, magsimba ka sa Westminster or kung saan man, always may mga Pinoy. Especially yun nga sa mga church pag Sundays. Pag naman pumunta ka sa mga spots na mas maraming kainan, may mga Pinoy talaga. Marami. And London is really diverse kasi when it comes to yung mga races. Talagang sa sobrang diverse nila, I think wala na yung majority na British, ganun. Because it's really a mix of Filipinos, Indians, what else? Sometimes may Arab, ganyan. And yun, kung makita ka naman ng white, it's mainly sometimes hindi pa rin British. Minsan it's Irish or Scottish. So yun, very diverse pag nandito sa London. Kaya nga, when I visited my friend sa Bath, it was just that time that I got out of London. And I was so surprised na parang, oh my God, walang masyadong ibang kulay doon. Like, all of them are all white. Like, so it's really, I think, it's just because of you are in London. That's why ganun. Siguro it depends din sa place. So, ayun, more on yung mga British talaga siguro nasa ibang lugar na sila dito. They're not really parang confined sa London.
I see. Wow. In terms of salary, can you give us a range lang? Masasabi mo ba na it's enough or kulang pa and makakapagpadala ka pa ng extra for the family back here in the Philippines?
When it comes to range, when you are a band 5 nurse na, so that's the banding kapag nakuha mo na yung OSCE exam mo and you got your PIN na. So with band 5s, for me dito sa London, kasi may additional payments and the more inner you are sa London, the more na mas malaki yung pay kasi you'll be added ng HCAS na tinatawag nila, which is yung high cost of living allowances. So, with me, it would range parang 1,900 to like 2,200 pounds a month. Included na dun yung HCAS na sinasabi ko. So, for me, I think enough naman siya. Although medyo mas mahal yung bahay dito sa Central London as compared to ibang parts. I think okay naman siya. And I still have enough para magpadala sa family and support them, ganyan, and konting luho on the side. So, I think komportable naman. You don't really feel na kailangan ko magtipid. Pero still, yung mga elders dito, they would really encourage you na mag-ipon kasi so tempting talaga. Siguro depends sa lifestyle mo din. If you're really just keen on always eating out or buying stuff, of course, hindi ka makakaipon and your salary won't always be enough for you. Pero since yun, simple lang ang gusto mong lifestyle, kung ganun lang ang gusto mo, talaga makakaipon ka. And you still have enough para magpadala back home.
Ito Casey, malapit na tayo matapos. In terms of culture shock, anong mga naalala mo dyan? Nung pagdating mo, like, nagulat ka ganito pala dito, and then, ano yung mga other practices na talaga nagulat ka lang?
May mga practices lang sila na hindi katulad sa atin. Like, yung basic lang, like, opening doors. It's quite offending kapag pumasok ka lang sa door, kapag alam mo may kasunod ka, tapos basta pumasok ka na lang, mo na lang magsara yung door for them. It's quite offending for them na you don't hold the door for them. So here, dahil nga sobrang polite ng culture nila, you have to really be polite. You have to say thank you for everything. Even thank the bus driver for, bago ka bumaba, you say thank you to the bus driver na for driving you, basically. And you know na naman na it's their job, but you're still thanking them for it. So, ganun sila ka-polite. Yes, ganun. And excuse, and they value their personal space. So, pag naglalakad ka, and malaki naman yung space ng kalsada, pero alam mo magkakasalubong kayo, they would really give you enough space, or sometimes they would stop, wait for you to pass, and then they tsaka sila maglalakad ulit. So sa atin kasi skinita na nga, siksikan pa kayo. Ganyan. We don't value personal space pagdating sa atin. Sa bus pa nga lang, siksikan, ganyan. Kahit face to face na kayo, cheek to cheek na kayo, ganyan. Hindi, dito they value it. Maybe that's one of the things na kaya din sila get over din with COVID. It's because of the spacing, because they value personal space. Hindi sila mahirap sawayin when it comes to yung kailangan 2 to 3 meters apart kayo, ganyan. So, hindi sila mahirap sawayin in terms of that. Yeah, few examples lang. Pero pagdating dito, as yung immerse with their culture, marami ka pang ma-find na parang, amazing, ganun pala dito.
In your opinion, para dun sa mga nurses who are planning to go there, ano yung mga bagay na sana alam mo or sana sinabi sa'yo na ganito pala dapat para pagdating mo dyan is nakapag-prepare ka pa?
Well, when it comes to preparation, no one could really prepare you enough for going here. But one thing for sure is always bring tabo. Kasi walang bidet dito, hindi uso bidet and all that. So always bring that. That's the one thing na I wish I could have known nung nandyan pa ako. So yeah, and also do researches. Everything is available na to you. We just join groups and all that. Ask for tips. In preparation, you don't need to bring a lot of your clothing here, because clothes here are really cheap. Winter clothes as well, so you don't need to bring all those. You just bring things na alam mo very important to you. Ganun. Kasi with me, I think I bought a lot of winter clothes, which is parang sana hindi ko ginawa when I got here, kasi sobrang mura pala niya as compared to buying in H&M or Uniqlo, ganyan. So pagdating dito, there are a lot of stores na, or lalo na kung magse-sale pa sila. Kasi pag sale talaga. So marami kang mabibili. So di kailangang bumili sa atin ng mga ganung stuff. So yung more on important stuff lang talaga.
And there you have it, everyone. Casey, maraming salamat for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you so much for ito. So keep up sa vlogs, ganyan. Alam ko in no time mag-boom din to. Doing good job.
Sana nga. Okay, guys, if you find this content valuable, please like and subscribe. And if may questions kayo, please just comment down below. Everyone, please keep safe and God bless everyone. Bye.